it's Red Eye Radio, with talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok, this is Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. I'm Chris Krok in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. The guys are on a long weekend off, which is good, and then they'll return Sunday night into Monday morning. Well, of course, the big story breaking Thursday night into Friday morning is that Hunter Biden now faces new indictment charges in California, in the Central District of California. This would be a Los Angeles courtroom, federal courtroom. So indicted on 9 counts of tax evasion, 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in federal taxes between 2016 and 2019. What they didn't do is they did not go after Hunter for his 2 biggest years, where he hauled in, I think, 20 to 27 million. Last time I heard, I believe that's around there, and paid nothing on that. And also, they didn't. And you got to understand. You got to understand something else too. There's no statute of limitations on taxes when there's fraud. So if you cheat or lie on your taxes, there's no statute of limitations. And so this still applies, but they chose to bury that and not do it because you know why? That would be really, even bigger, the worst years. So they didn't want to go after that because, no, they're not going to do that. Oh, no. And then also they didn't go after Hunter Biden for FARA, Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is lobbying in foreign countries. So, because that's also a bad one, too. They don't want to do that. They just want to get he didn't pay taxes on at least $1.4 million in taxes. So, we're so sorry. Number one, it's perfect timing, isn't it? Because the House for past several days has been saying, heavily the past 48 hours to 72 hours, has been saying, we're subpoenaing you, and you will testify. You've been subpoenaed for Wednesday morning of next week. My gosh, guys, it's like 5 days away, 4 days away, or 5, if you do the math, let's see, but 5 days away. And you're going to show up at 9:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. And if you don't, we'll hold you in contempt. And holding you in contempt means they can arrest you and jail you, which is what the Democrat House did to Steve Bannon, Trump advisor at the time. So, and he ended up getting put in solitary confinement. It was a very cruel thing. So, why wouldn't they do the same thing to Hunter to make him testify? And Hunter would only do it in public, which is a totally different thing. They're like, yeah, we'll let you do it in public after you do your private one. The private one's first. The private one's behind closed doors, and they can ask as many questions as they want. They can ask 400 questions. They can ask for hours and hours on end. It can be I do believe it can go multiple days if they want to, whatever it means. 8 hours of being grilled. Because there's so much to ask the guy from so much corruption and so many things. Where was this loan from? Okay, you said this was a loan to your dad? Okay, what was it for? Okay, where's the paperwork on that? What are the terms of this? Let's see the paperwork on this. And, okay, we don't see that in your dad's bank account. What did that go to? What was it from? Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, gee, look at that. So they don't want to have Joe get taken down with them. So, no. Oh, it's so terrible. We can't testify now. We're going to plead the fifth because we have a criminal trial coming up. Thank you, David Weiss. I mean, David, the Judge Noriega, Trump-appointed judge, literally was the one asking questions and so, well, wait a minute, with this insane sweetheart deal that Hunter got prior to this. Well, wait a minute, what is this here? Has anybody ever gotten a deal like this before in the history of the Justice Department in the country? No. Well, then why are you doing this? And then, wait a minute, you're having me be in charge of making sure he doesn't violate his probation? That's not a judge's job. That's never any judge's job. Why would you do this? But no, I'm not outsourcing this and handling this for you. That's your job. And And so there were so many gross abnormalities that she's like, what is this? And she wasn't saying it as in, I gotcha. Oh, you're rigging it. She just was like innocuously saying, well, what is this? This doesn't make sense. How can you explain that to me? And then all she did was ask a few innocuous questions that are regular questions that a judge would answer if they were like, what is this? And so it fell apart. And so now they are flashing a big story. Oh, it's Hunter's been indicted on 9 counts of not paying $1.4 million in taxes. Well, here's the thing: he's going to get a slap on the wrist for this. Brett Tolman, former U.S. attorney, talking on Fox News Thursday night, was saying that. I mean, now he can plead the fifth. He won't testify in front of the House behind closed doors. He'll just plead the fifth. And second of all, this will wrap him up and keep him quiet for a long time. And then they're not going to ask for a serious penalty on him. And his sugar daddy that has paid off other debts for him, the L.A. producer / a lawyer guy who's got tons of money, will pay his bills again, or somebody like that will, and then he'll be off. And somebody told me this. Somebody I work with at my weeknight show. My show weeknights is at our Red Eye Radio affiliate in Dallas, Fort Worth, WBAP. You can check me out there at WBAP.com. And follow me on Twitter at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show, CHRISKROK. But I was one of my colleagues at WBAP was saying Thursday night, well, now this is going to take Joe down. I said, well, how? Well, he's going to be implicated in this. I don't think so, because this Justice Department has one mission: to protect Joe Biden and to keep Hunter out of jail. That's all it does. It has rigged everything. And David Weiss, you have to understand something. The statutes, the federal guidelines call specifically for a special counsel to be named that is outside of the government. It cannot be a federal government employee. David Weiss should never have even been picked. He was picked because he is their man. And he is their man is proven by the sweetheart deal he tried to get for Hunter, but then after a few questions, everything fell apart. It's all for Joe, all for Hunter. So now the act is, we've got him on all these indictments in California. And, we got him on it. He won't face any serious charges. This wraps him up and it keeps him quiet. And I think the only implication that will be done by Joe will be the Republicans, and how are they going to get anything now? Because Hunter is going to say, I plead the fifth. I have a criminal court case hearing. This is all to protect him. So, no, I don't think this is going to be a big case that'll take him down or take Joe down. I think it's designed to protect both of them until the election. And Joe hopes to God he'll win. And I hope that Trump will defeat him. And then Joe will probably pardon Hunter between when he loses and when he leaves office that month. That's what I think, guys. Don't mean to be negative, but I'm just telling you how I'm thinking on this. And I think that the idea that this Justice Department that rigs everything for Joe and rigged it for Hunter with David Weiss is not going to rig it anymore is ridiculous to me to think that. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number, 866-907-3339. And then we have the UNLV gunman, Anthony Polito, I don't know how to pronounce his name. 67, listen to that. Here's your new gunman for the UNLV, killing 3 people, unfortunately, in a sick, wicked mass shooting, yet again. And this just shows you the Democrats just play this out. All they do is seek to take away our guns. And they make the AR-15 out to be a big, bad weapon that is terrible, and it's a weapon of war. Well, most mass shootings are done with handguns. They're not done with rifles. Rifles and shotguns actually comprise less than 3%. It's between 1% and 3% of all homicides are done with rifles and shotguns. The overwhelmingly, like 96 or 97% of all homicides are done with handguns. Remember Chung Ho Shui, I believe is how you pronounce his name, the Virginia Tech shooter? He had 2 handguns, and he killed dozens of people, unfortunately. And this 67-year-old professor, Anthony Polito, was spurned when he applied for a job at UNLV. And that apparently is the genesis or the reason for him flipping out and shooting and killing 3 people on the UNLV campus, which is right off the Las Vegas Strip. So this does not fit any profile. This is not some young person who they always try to peg it on. This is a 67-year-old man who was apparently a brilliant guy. He claimed, here's some of the details from the New York Post on this. Professor who failed to secure a job at UNLV. Anthony Polito, 67, unsuccessfully applied for a professorship at UNLV before he unleashed his deadly rampage on the campus just before noon Thursday. Armed with a handgun during his massacre, was killed following a shootout with 2 police detectives. God bless those officers. He's an associate professor for 15 and a half years at East Carolina University from 2001 to 2017. He posted on a personal website at that time about his life. He posted a 15-page theory claiming he decoded the message left by the Zodiac Killer who operated in Northern California in the 60s. So just so you won't initially write off my solution, he said, is that as a total crackpot. Let me first say I've been a member of Mensa for 35 years, hold a double undergraduate degree in mathematics and statistics, 2 closely skills associated with successful cryptographers, he claims. I hold a master's and a doctoral degree from the top 2 universities as well. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he says. So I'm not a dumb guy. But, when somebody's telling you how brilliant they are and how they're not dumb, there's tremendous insecurities there. These are all red flags. Not that you're going to be a shooter, but that you've got tremendous insecurities. I mean, if people go on rants for 15 pages for anything, it's like, what is this? A couple of paragraphs, man. Land the plane, or you've lost us. He credited list of people he credited as the great minds of the 20th century included George Soros. So he's obviously a white supremacist Trumper, right? Just like the man who has been arrested for shooting up a synagogue in Albany. A man, let's see, I got his name on here. Let's go here. It is here. The guy that was just arrested in Albany in the past 24 hours fired a rifle, shouted "Free Palestine" outside of an Albany synagogue, shooting into the synagogue. His name is Mufid Fawaz Al-Khadar, and the cops in Albany are saying they're investigating this as a hate crime. He's 28. Clearly another white supremacist Trumper, right? I'm obviously joking here, mocking the left with this garbage and Joe Biden and his folks. Anyways, this gunman who is dead, thankfully, he called the great minds of the 20th century George Soros, Nikola Tesla, and Carl Sagan, the astronomer. So they killed him, and I'm grateful for that, but unfortunately 3 people were killed. Doesn't meet the normal profile, does he? No. And not a AR-15. Where's Joe saying we need to ban them? I wanted to also play you some audio. Our number, by the way, is 866-90-RED-EYE, 866-907-3339. Coming up next, I want to play for you a report from Bill Malugin, Fox News, on the border. I'm seeing this video, and I just retweeted it. You can catch it on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, CHRISKROK, at Chris Krok Show, because this is in Lukeville, Arizona, and it's horrifying to see this. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men, all military-age men, just lined up. That's all it is. From all over the world, Syrian men, all over the country. You can hear Bill Melugin report this in a moment. We'll get to it coming up in moments. But it is disgusting. It is disgusting to see what is happening to this country. It is horrifying. I'll play it for you coming up next. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on Red Eye Radio.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Shop early to find that perfect Christmas tree before they're all gone. Shoppers are hearing that message a lot this year, but why? Well, Tim O'Connor with the National Christmas Tree Association says most growers these days are making a profit, but it was a different story 10 to 15 years ago.
At that time, the growers were not profitable. They were in an oversupply situation. Too many trees had been planted for the demand that existed, and growers were selling at below break-even prices.
So they cut plantings of new trees, and that has produced tight supplies of trees over the last couple of years. O'Connor says, though, never fear.
We will see more trees come into the marketplace in the future. They're planted, they're growing, and in the not-too-distant future, there will be more trees to harvest every year than we're currently experiencing.
The question is, will there be a demand for those additional trees so growers can sell them at a profit?
Or will it create another oversupply situation and start another cycle down?
We'll know in a couple of years. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
Fox News, Bill Melugin on the border with breathtaking report, and to watch this is just disgusting, honestly. Hundreds and hundreds of military-age men lined up, and Jay Johnson, Obama's secretary, former Homeland Security Secretary, said 1,000 we can manage. Over 4,000, I think he said, was a disaster, or was it over 1,200 a day? I don't know what, but he says this is an absolute crisis. They could never manage more than a couple thousand, 4,000 max in a day, and we are at 12,000 a day. Listen to Bill Melugin today.
No, it's not stopping, Dana. The numbers are actually getting even worse. Multiple CBP sources telling me this morning in the last 24 hours, Border Patrol alone has made more than 10,000 apprehensions of illegal immigrants. That does not even include CBP ports of entry. And you can see the situation here in Lukeville behind us. We got well over 800 people waiting in line here after they crossed illegally overnight, waiting to be apprehended by Border Patrol. Once again, it's like deja vu from yesterday. You can see these guys are coming in from all over the world. A lot of African men, mostly single adult men here. Some of them were setting campfires overnight in the cold, camping out here, waiting to get taken into custody by Border Patrol. But CBP sources telling me in the last 24 hours in this Tucson, Arizona sector, there were almost 2,900 apprehensions, and the Border Patrol facilities out here are currently running 200% of their capacity. That is why there are so many people out here waiting to be taken into custody by Border Patrol. Now, Arizona has a Democrat governor. Her name is Katie Hobbs. She has not yet sent any state resources down here. No Arizona troopers, no Arizona National Guard. That's unlike what we've seen in the state of Texas with Governor Greg Abbott. Well, Governor Hobbs is calling for more federal action when it comes to helping in Arizona. Take a listen.
We need the federal government to act and provide more resources, and we've been very clear about that. There's a lot more they could be doing, both the Biden administration, and again, I know this is beating the drum that we've been beating for decades, but we need comprehensive immigration reform to really thoroughly...
Okay, no, we do not. That's amnesty. This is a whole-scale invasion of our country. To see 800 grown military-age men lined up is just unbelievable. It's just sick what we're watching. It really is. Across America, this is Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary.
Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios. Now, for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok.
Across America, Red Eye Radio, Chris Krok filling in for Eric and Gary. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. That's 866-907-3339. And we are, you want to hear something fun? I got a little treat for you here. Let us hear from the head. This is a star witness. Democrats love having her testify. She's a powerful woman. She's got so much knowledge and experience. She's the head of the National Women's Law Center, Fatima Goss-Graves. Watch out for the double last names, right? The double hyphenated last names. Here she is telling what should happen to women and girls that lose when trans men defeat them. Okay? Trans men come in, they defeat you. Here's her advice to these women.
The reality is that, like their peers, trans girls and women, they sometimes lose at sports, and sometimes they win. And success in school sports depends on a whole range of factors, including how hard you work and coaching and access to really good resources and facilities. And trans students participate in sports for the same reason as their kids, because it is fun, because it creates belonging and community, because it teaches so much about persistence and leadership and discipline, unless they learn to lose gracefully, hopefully.
That's it, guys. Your daughter, your adult daughter, needs to learn how to lose gracefully. It is more valuable to learn how to lose gracefully than to win. That is what the head of the National Women's Law Center says. That your daughter should learn, or your spouse should learn how to lose gracefully to a trans man. Somebody who went through puberty as a man and has a greater lung capacity, greater bone density, more oxygen in their blood, and much greater muscle mass. So your daughter should learn to lose gracefully. That's it. Now, you want to know something that's really funny? This Democrat star witness, National Women's Law Center, Fatima Goss-Graves, saying this, smiling and everything. By the way, I got to ask you a question. Do you think she's ever played in any sports whatsoever? Don't you wonder? I wonder if she's ever played on a sports team as a woman or as a girl. Interesting, right? I'm willing to bet she's never played in organized sports. I don't know that, but I'm willing to bet you she's not. She was not in college athletics or high school athletics. Just a guess. You're going to love this, though. She's been a common Democrat star witness. She told, so I want you to remember this. She told women to lose gracefully. Okay. Now, this is the same woman last year, a year and 3-4 months ago. She was asked in July 2022 by Representative Andrew Clyde, quote, he asked her, since you're the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us in this committee hearing. What I'll tell you is I am a woman. That's how I identify. Declining to provide a definition. I wonder, however, he said, if in part the reason you're asking she says, I'm a woman, that's how I identify. She says, I wonder, however, if in part the reason that you're asking the question is that you're trying to suggest, ... He interrupted her. I simply want an answer, Clyde insisted. She brought up the gender identifier of non-binary. Okay, we're not going to go there, he said. I was hoping maybe you would say something that maybe we learned in high school biology, Clyde said. High school? Can we just go to high school level, Mrs. Law Lady? It has to do with X and Y chromosomes, which define male and female, but I guess we're not going to go there. So isn't that great? She doesn't identify what a woman is, but she tells women to lose gracefully. There you go. Thank you. Right? Star witness, Democrat. Good job. Good job. Telling your daughter to lose gracefully. Mm-hmm. Hard pass on that. No, thank you. Now let us go. Kind of doing a little tour. By the way, I don't know if you caught this, but, and I tweeted this out, you can catch it on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. I tweeted this out a couple hours ago. This is we had a terror attack, it looks like, an attempted terror attack in a lone wolf in Albany, New York. Police arrest a man who fired rifle and shouted "Free Palestine" outside of an Albany synagogue. And today is I believe, the second day of Hanukkah. And I know that Hanukkah isn't the biggest holiday for our Jewish brothers and sisters out there, but it's still, I mean, now more than ever, everything's precious with our Jewish friends, with the hell they're going through in America and this country. And so Temple Israel Synagogue shooter identified as 28-year-old Mufid Fawaz al-Khadar. He yelled "Free Palestine" as he shot off a round at the temple and appeared to have torn down an Israeli flag or a sign, according to law enforcement. In fact, the chief of Albany, I saw a little bit earlier, was on CNN, had him on with a press conference, at least from out there on the scene. They had some interviews with him. And he said that, yes, we're investigating this as a hate crime, obviously. And, of course, it's another Trump supporter, white supremacist, obviously. His name is Mufid Fawaz al-Khadar, and attacking a synagogue. So, obviously, it's another Trump voter, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. You can catch that story on my Twitter feed. And then the other thing I wanted to play for you, look at this. Your children at UMass Amherst are not learning. They are acting like terrorists. Listen to this in the this is the dining hall yesterday, screaming "Intifada Revolution." It's amazing. You got terrorists with kafayas and bandanas and a mask over their face, just eyes, with a megaphone, and a bunch of useful idiots all over the place chanting and cheering him. You got people in the backdrop. I'm watching this, and they're like getting food, and they're just acting normal. It's just another day in third world radical Islamist Muslim country or something like that. There's your universities now. And the key on this, to know what's really going on, is I don't ever want you to forget this. If there's one thing you remember from the show today on Red Eye, I want you to remember this, that the reason why you're seeing this, you got TikTok, which is I heard a former, I think FBI or intelligence official say on Fox that TikTok is a malware app, a Chinese malware app, and collects information, and it teaches kids China is great. China's very anti-Semitic, and there's a lot of anti-Semitism on TikTok. But it's a Chinese malware app, and it collects all your kids' contacts, their microphone, their cameras. If they ever are in a position of power or something like that, the Chinese can do whatever they want with their phone and whatever they've got on them. But it's just a big malware app. But this is on our campuses. You have China has given tens of billions of dollars, if not more, including UPenn for Joe Biden at the Penn Biden Center. You have not just the Chinese, but it's also the Chinese communists, but also Qatar and Saudi Arabia have given tens of millions of dollars to all these top elite universities. So they're teaching them to hate America, to lift up radical Islam and Jew hatred, and that and DEI is lifted up, and DEI teaches that there's oppressors and oppressed. Jews are considered white oppressors, and Palestinians are considered oppressed. And thusly, you can dehumanize the Jews, and you can attack them and call to be slaughtering them, and praise the attacks and the rapes and the horrible things that have been done to our Jewish friends, and praise what the radical Islamist Hamas terrorists have done and are doing, and so you can understand it. And so it's malware. I know is through computers and phones and viruses and stuff, but let's just call it, for the sake of this, a massive malware operation through our most elite universities. And it's worked, and you're witnessing it, to the point where you have the presidents of MIT, Harvard, and UPenn, and all the top places, refusing to condemn genocide. And Intifada, which is a violent revolution against the Jews. That's all it is. It's radical Islam violently attacking and destroying Jews. And so look at what they're doing. And what I didn't fully understand is, and I learned this with all this stuff that's been going on recently, because I never would have known exactly what a president of a university does. They're fundraisers. That really is apparently all they are. They're fundraisers. So they're not going to call out the Saudis. Qatar has all there's 3 billionaires that are worth $11 billion that are Hamas. And they're all living in 5-star luxury in high-rises in Qatar. And Qatar allows them to order the attacks, do it all, and to get down on their knees and pray to their God that their attacks they plan with Iran funding it all is working. And they're not even fighting it. They're over there in 5-star luxury, and their kids are in 5-star luxury. And I'm so happy, and you have no idea how much joy I felt to hear our friends in Israel to say they are going to do what they did in Germany with the Munich 72. They're going to hunt down the terrorists from that killed 11 Israeli athletes. They hunted them down. It took years and years, and they're going to kill them. They're going to hunt down and kill every member of Hamas. And they said, the billionaires that are sitting there in Qatar, you're dead. You're dead. And they might not take them out for a year or 2 or 3 or 4. They're going to kill them all. And that's exactly what they must do. They're going to extinguish every Hamas terrorist. And they're going to extinguish the billionaire Hamas terrorists. All of them. And I'm proud of our Israeli friends for saying they're going to do that, and they're going to kill these terrorists. And that is exactly what they must do. And Yahya Sinwar is going to be killed soon. They made the mistake of freeing him from prison. He became the guy that would be the mastermind and prosecute this terror attack against them. He's a dead man too. But these 3 countries I mentioned are funding this Jew hatred and America hatred and DEI crap. This is what they want. And I pray that it's not, excuse me, that was me bumping my microphone. I pray that this is not invading our institutions in our states that are not these prestigious, massive universities, but I fear that they are too. All this must be rooted out. Congress now saying they're going to investigate this. All this must be rooted out. It must be ended. All right, we're gonna rejoin in a few here. I'll pause for a minute. We'll kind of wrap this up nicely, put a bow on it. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
Here is a great compilation from Joe Biden in 2020 calling out Trump on his taxes.
I've dealt with Guys like Trump my whole life, so have you. Guys who avoid paying their own taxes they owe because they figure, as he said last time out, it's because he's smart. He's able to play the system. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
We have great confidence in our son. He is the smartest man I know.
There you go, guys. Hey, good luck with that, bro. Hey, it's Chris Krok. You can catch me at WBAP.com. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. Eric and Gary back Sunday night into Monday after a long holiday weekend. Red Eye Radio.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood.